Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I want to start with the words of Giovanni Armanini. For the people that do not know who Giovanni is, he's an independent journalist. He was guest here on the channel a few weeks ago to speak about all the trials ongoing towards Juventus. But I repeat, and maybe it's the most important thing before reading and quoting what he wrote this morning, what he tweeted this morning, he's not a Juventus fan. He's not supporting Juve. What did he wrote this morning? I quote, "I believe that Juventus fans are undergoing dangerous psychological violence in public debate, also in the papers, in journalism. They read assumptions." The Juve fans, they read assumptions and BS news every day. There is a work going on that will lead to no good, a communicative barbary. He's speaking about the potential dangers of what is happening towards the communication towards anti-Juve. Guys, why am I speaking about that? And I will repeat it because the next following news that I will tell you, because unfortunately will not speak about football, Juve, Inter, until the end of the video, of course, where we will speak about Juve Inter or Inter Juve, but before that, maybe opening the eyes of what is really going on. We open Tutto Sport with the first page today, Gravina, e adesso? The question from Tutto Sport towards the president of Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio, that they are asking, what about now? Why? What are they referring to? Towards the news of yesterday, the fantastic news of yesterday. They are asking that Gravina explains now, because if 2 days ago Gravina was saying there is only Lukaku that is incorrectly paying for the racial abuse because he was banned for the return game of Coppa Italia, now that 171 persons from the Allianz Stadium that were present that day have been banned forever from that stadium, we are waiting for Gravina to maybe readdress the words that he said, with only Lukaku was paying. I go back a bit in chronology. I was there at the stadium. I was watching and hearing everything that happened in the stadium. I go back. 2 persons were immediately banned. One that is a minor kid, minus 18, for the next following 10 years will not be able anymore to enter the stadium. One adult that will be banned forever from the Allianz Stadium. It's a dangerous topic. It's a topic that we have to pay attention for. I always stated since day one, since immediately, that it is one person or the full capacity of the Allianz Stadium. That means 41,551. They all need to be banned for life. We don't want these people. Every single person that had an intention, or not even an intention, but that is entering a football stadium, and that is entering and that is committing an act of violence, that is verbal or not verbal, racist chants or fights or whatever, should be banned forever, for life. It is not acceptable to have these kind of things in, I repeat, a sport event that should be an entertainment, should show the values of fair play towards our team, but also towards, and especially towards, the opponents. Well, immediately I said and I wrote that I was at the stadium, and after reading the reports of Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio with the referees that are saying and stating that the majority of the curva was doing racial abuse towards the player, I said, no, it is not true. That these people, all of them that did it, should be banned, I totally agree. But that they did, that it was the majority, I said, no, it is impossible. I was there. It's of course more than the 2 people that were immediately banned. But how much? 100? 150? This is what I stated. Today, 20 days later, on the eve of Inter Juve of Coppa Italia, what do we hear? That Juventus continued to work with the Digos, with the Turin police and investigations, and that they identify, thanks to all the cameras in the stadium and the sounds, they were able to identify all the people that actively did it and contributed to these disgusting things. These people, 171, will be banned from the stadium. Apparently, they identified 250. There will be ongoing investigation about that, but 250 is the max. 250 of the total capacity of the stadium is absolutely not the majority. 250 of the Curva Sud level 1 is absolutely not the majority. This is 5% of the Curva Sud. Was it correct to ban all the Curva Sud? Absolutely not. It was not correct. Now, we are waiting an answer from Gravina, because Gravina said that he was fighting racism, and I totally agree. I'm happy that Lukaku is back because no one on earth should be victim of bullying, should be victim of racial abuse. It's not correct. I'm happy that Lukaku is there. Sincerely, I also want that all the best players are at disposal when you are playing a game like Juve Inter Juve. But I'm expecting now that these kind of things are readdressed. I want that we are continuing to fight every single of racist form, not only when it's happening in the Allianz Stadium, with a Juventus that has always been collaborative. I'm asking myself, what about Caramo, that was racially abused during Torino Lazio and that spoke about it and posted also the images on his social account? Nobody's speaking about it. We close our eyes, and this is not acceptable. Like we were closing our eyes because I was at the stadium, I remind you, and I said I would also, I would also want to stop hearing chants Liverpool at the 39th minute of a game towards Juventus fans from away fans that are really disrespecting 39 people that passed away, unfortunately. Nobody was reporting it, nobody was speaking it, and also the Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio official report was not speaking about it. 20 days later, after the investigation of the Digos, finally, I'm not crazy, I was right telling you that I heard them because they are reporting that during the investigation they heard this episode. So hopefully justice will be done on that. It's not over and the video might be a bit longer because we have to speak about so many topics. And again, I repeat the words of Giovanni Armanini, a communicative barbary. Juventus that is obliged to hear assumptions and biased information every single day. What are we speaking about this time? Well, the big front page of Gazzetta dello Sport, Euro stangata Juve. What does that mean? Euro blow Juventus. UEFA is preparing to ban Juventus from the cups. This is their front page. UEFA, and they are going with big title, with big red words, Juve, Euroblow. UEFA is preparing to ban Juventus from Europa. All the Juventini, they have the right to be really worried, to be scared when you are seeing that page. Well, when you are opening page 2, page 3, instead of speaking about Inter Juve, the game of tomorrow, the big game of tomorrow, they are speaking about Juve without Europe. UEFA is thinking about it. It's already slightly a different version of what you read on the first page. If on the first page UEFA is preparing to exclude Juve, here you have UEFA that is thinking about it. Well, I explain you what is written in that article, a misled big title that is actually inviting people buy the paper. Well, what are they speaking about? That UEFA can't wait too long for the process, the trials of Juventus in Italy to be over, because in the month of July, end of July, beginning of August, they need to take a decision to prepare all their grit and all the teams that will participate to Champions League, to Europa League, to Conference League. They need to have strict deadlines to have all the teams there, so they can't wait. So UEFA is thinking that if the Italian justice is not able to give a final verdict before the end of July, well, they need to step in with the fair play, the financial fair play committee that will decide about Juventus. This is an assumption. This is a possibility. This is absolutely not something that has been stated. Well, it's different. It's totally different. Again, reporting the words of Giovanni Armanini. Criminal. It's criminal, and it's a communicative barbary. Now they are also speaking about another possibility with Marco Guidi, that I mentioned a few times on the channel, that is eager and happy to write these kind of articles about Juve. I will tell you what he did today, where he's speaking about Juventus thinking about making a plea deal. What is that? A settlement agreement, actually finding an agreement with Italian justice to avoid a big total punishment and drama. If Juventus is going towards the prosecutors asking for a plea, for a settlement, it means that half of the penalization will be avoided. Half of the penalization in terms of points or money or whatever will be totally cancelled. If Juventus goes towards the prosecutors after the sentence, the verdict has been done, asking for an agreement, only a third of the punishment would be cancelled. Anyway, they are speaking about that. But what is really strange here is that they are also, again, in a professional journalism article saying that doing so doing so, well, not everyone would be happy, because if the prosecutors are giving and agreeing in a plea, in a settlement agreement with Juventus, well, the public opinion would not be convinced, because they want Juventus to be the big example and be punished as far as possible, as much as possible. Well, what are we speaking about? We are speaking about assumptions about making the public opinion, we are speaking about anti-Juve, happy, because they judge that Juventus is the big criminal of Serie A and European football. Guys, this is not journalism anymore. Here we are not speaking about justice anymore. Here we are speaking about making the public opinion happy. And if you are looking at the first pages of Gazzetta dello Sport with Juve, Euroblow, Uefa is putting Juventus and banning Juventus out of European competitions, well, we are seeing that the opinion of the public is really manipulated. Anyway, what can be the potential prize money impact of Juventus if we are out of Europe for 1 year only? Well, they're speaking about 62 million euro. 62 million euro without thinking about all the tickets that you sell, the marketing, and so on and so on. Total disaster. Anyway, Corriere dello Sport is speaking about Roma that lost yesterday against Atalanta. It's not a coincidence that we see again all these big titles on Gazzetta dello Sport. Opinion of the mass that is manipulating with big titles, with Juve persecuted, with Juve harassed, with Juve this. Why? Because Juventus received their 15 points back. Temporarily, because Juventus is in semi-final of Europa League, there is a high chance that Juventus, in a way or in another, is qualifying to the next European competitions. Winning the Europa League, being and finishing in top 4, everything can happen, especially after Atalanta winning over Roma, where Juventus, they still keep distance over Roma and still are in this top 4. Well, look, it's a bit strange, the manipulation, but it's not an easy season for Juventus if we are looking at all the kind of things that has been whistled against us, because we are speaking about off the field, but also on the field. And Tuttosport is reporting some of the episodes. So you remember the goal scored of Danilo with cancelled because he touched it with a hand, while it was De Vrij that is taking his hand. We're speaking about the Salernitana goal, the push from Sergej Milinkovic-Savic on Alexander. There are so many different episodes. Sassuolo, Atalanta, Inter, Lazio, Salernitana, a lot. And what does that mean? That the anger of Juventini is starting to grow bigger, and we are not even anymore able to be objectively judging some episodes because it's too much. And when you are thinking maybe that it's over, that maybe we are exaggerating as Juventini, well, we are thinking in a bad faith way. Look, tomorrow there will be Inter Juve, and Doveri will be the referee of that game. Who is Doveri? Well, it's the one that whistled the penalty for Inter last season, while it was actually a foul on De Sciglio. You say, okay, human mistake, it can happen. But then Juventini, they have a good memory. They go back in 2-3 years ago when Doveri was spotted at the airport with a bag of Inter. Hey, guys, then you're telling me Doveri is maybe not an Inter fan, is maybe a professional one. But if you're adding this plus this plus this, of course Juventini are starting to doubt the justice. Anyway, I leave it here for you. We have to speak about our own responsibility. I don't know if we will play with 4-man or 3-man defense. Bremer will be there. Could be a 4-man defense because Quadrado has been correctly banned for 3 games because of the punch towards Handanovic, but the problem is up front. A team that is not able to score anymore. The month of April has been a total disaster with a maximum of 1 goal per game scored. We didn't even score versus Napoli. We did, but it was cancelled. We didn't score versus Sassuolo. It starts to be a real problem. It is a big problem. And Juventus, they need to make abstraction of everything that we said in the first 15 minutes of the video, and they need to focus on one thing. How do you make sure that Federico Chiesa, Milik, Di Maria, Vlahovic, all these players are scoring? Because it's nice to have the top scorer, or it's nice to have Rabiot at 11 goals in your season, but it's not normal that he is your top scorer. This is absolutely not normal. So we need to find a way to score goals, because if you don't score enough goals, if you score only 1 goal a game, well, the problem is that the other ones, they will receive a penalty, a W fall. your goals can be potentially cancelled. They can't cancel you 5 goals. You need to go and find a way to score goals. Starting tomorrow versus Inter, we need to increase the average goal per minute from our strikers. We need them. I'm kindly asking to Dusan Vlahovic, to Di Maria, to Chiesa, to Milik, not to Keane because he will not be there, but these players to go with one objective, scoring all of them more than 1 goal against Inter, because we want to go towards the final of Coppa Italia. Guys, maximum of comment. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve.